Friends, you will be tested at some point in your life. You can call it test or trial. You and I will go through a test. Some of us now may be going through a test right now. Some are going through a test as we speak. I know in my family we are going through a test, and people are praying for us. And I say thank you for the prayers. For some, their life has been one test or the other. They cannot get away from test or trial. It's like they are going from one test and they think everything is good, then bam, something else happens. Maybe you are going through a test for your faith. Maybe it's for your mental strength. Maybe it is to show kindness. There's test that comes in so many ways. And how you handle this test will determine how things turn out. When I was in Nigeria, back a few years ago, well, a long time ago, we used to play this game. I'm not quite sure if it was good or not, but we will give like a candy to like a 3-year-old or 6-year-old child. It was to test to see if they are generous, if they will be kind, if they are selfish or not. So we will give this candy to a 3-year-old and say, this is for you, take it. And they take it. And then we will turn around and say, hey, can I have candy, please? I know, it wasn't good. We give the candy, this is for you, and then we thank you. And then we turn around and say, can I have candy, please? Some kids will say, okay, here, take it. Some will say, let's share it, Some will say, no, it's mine. That was a test to see, will this child be generous or selfish? Now, I'm not sure if that was a true test because this child probably grew up being the most giving person. Friends, some tests are harmless. You know what I mean? Like testing a child with candy, it makes no difference. You can't really judge. But some tests could have a dire consequence, depending if you pass or if you fail. One of those tests is found in the book of Daniel. It was a severe test for these young men who were taken captive. Let's go through the test and see what happens. In Daniel, we read of how King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came and besieged Jerusalem. He came and conquered them. There was a war, and he came and conquered the city. And he took with them some stuff for his temple. But he also took some people as well. It says in verse 3, the king ordered Ashpenaz, his chief of staff, to bring to the palace some of the young men of Judah's royal family and other noble families who had been brought to Babylon as captives. This verse shows how these young men ended up in a different city, a different town. The king told them to bring them out to him. Now, if you look at this verse, if you look at verse 4, it will tell you what kind of young men the king wanted. Verse 4 says, so select only strong men, healthy and good-looking young men. So if you're ugly, I guess that's if you're not good-looking, I guess they will pass you by. But here is how the king wanted it to be. Those who were strong, healthy, Good-looking young men, he said, make sure they are well versed in every branch of learning. The king wanted strong, good-looking, healthy. He didn't want any weakling. If you're malnourished, well, you could not be taken. You have to be strong, ready, and have brain to learn. Verse 6 says, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah were 4 of the young men chosen, all from the tribe of Judah. So all these 4 men were chosen from one tribe, and they were taken to this land, to this strange land. Friends, it is one thing to be moved from where you live to a different place. But while they were there, they had to face some test. Now they are in a strange land. They have to face different challenges. The first thing was that their names were changed. They were forced to conform. How do you conform? By changing your name. So now, Daniel's name that was given to them, which had some things to do with God, is now changed. Now, Daniel's was named Belteshazzar, which means keeper of hidden treasures of Baal. Hananiah became Shadrach, the inspiration of the sun, which they worship in Chilean. Mishael was given Meshach, which means of the goddess Shak, under which name Venus was worshipped. Azariah's name was changed to Abednego, the servants of the shining fire, which they also worship. Now they are taken captive, and they are given a name that doesn't resemble anything they know of. Their names had something to do with God, but now they're given a name that has to do with worship of idols. Friends, you have to be careful how the world wants us to twist and turn us to conform to their ways. They will come at a sneaky way. They will want to change something, a little thing about us. Though here in this case, they did not come out and say, all right, don't worship God. But they did something that they could to gently move this young man from God to their idol. They did by changing their name from what they had. We have to be careful not to conform, because conformity is bad. But not only were their name changed, mind you, they have been moved from a different city to a different unknown place. Now their names were changed, but here comes the next part. They had to conform to the literature of the new land. Verse 4 says, what in verse 4? It says, train these young men in the language and literature of Babylon. You can see the step. They're forced captive. They changed their name. Now they have to train them in the language of this foreign land. That's something, isn't it? They have to conform to the things of this new world. Friends, have you been made to conform to situations? At school, are you taught to do things that you know is not right? At work, are you told to do something you know is not right? They tell you it's not that bad. Just do a little thing here, a little thing here. But here comes the other part. Verse 5 says, the king assigned them a daily ration of food and wine from his own kitchens. They were to be trained for 3 years, and then they will enter the royal service. So not only will their name change, language change, now they have to eat the food from different culture. Now I think the king was doing them a good thing to say, eat the food that is served for me. Probably was a good food. Probably was a buffet or something. A food meant for a king. Must be good, right? But this is where Daniel drew a line. He said, you can change my name for all you want. You can teach me your language. But I will not eat your food. Friends, we'll be called upon to draw a line in the sand as long as we are people of God. I want to ask you, what is that line you are not willing to cross? What is it? You know where it pinches. You know where the struggle is. But at some point, we will have to take a stand to say, I will not do this. You could change my name. You could call me anything you want to call me. I don't care. But whatever will change my character, I wouldn't do it. Whatever will make me to deny my God, I won't do it. So just to recap, these men are taken captive from their land to a different land. That is bad. But then they change your name. From the name that they were given at communion, now they're given a name that reflects the idols of the city, of the town. They are told to read, learn different language. But now they're told to eat different food. They drew a line in the sand and said, that's it, enough is enough. I won't go on with this. I won't go along to get along. How often do we have that thing happen to us? Let me just go along to get along. Now, why was this food a big deal? Because the food they were not sure if this meat was given to idols first. And you know, that was a big no-no. You shall not eat any food given to idols. Just in the book of Leviticus 11:45, it says this. The book of Leviticus, it says, for I, the Lord, am the one who brought you from Egypt, that I might be your God. Therefore you must be holy, because I am holy. These are the instructions regarding land, animals, birds, marine creatures, and animals that scurry along the ground. By this instruction you will know what is unclean and clean, and which animal may be eaten and which may not be eaten. Friends, this is why the men said, I'm not sure what this meat is. If I eat this meat, I may be disobeying God. If I eat this meat that was given to idols, I will defile myself. So I will not do it. They said to the king, thank you, but no thanks. Thank you, but no thanks. They could get their names changed. That is, but they were not able to do things that will change their inner character, that will challenge the God they knew. They were faithful to God, whether they're in their homeland or in a strange land. Friends, sometimes we'll be moved to some place that is foreign to us, and you'll be tested to see your strength of character. Daniel and his friends said, no, we only worship one true God. The God that made us. They were faithful. It didn't start with a big miracle. It started by them deciding in their heart to be faithful. Whether they were in their homeland or in a strange land, they decided to be faithful to the one true God. Friends, we are often tested with little things. Start with little things. Are you going through a test right now? How are you handling it? Are you persevering? Are you giving in? Let's say this, that Daniel didn't do this on his own strength. He prayed to God for wisdom, for strength. So I told you earlier on that we will go through tests. How we handle the test will determine the outcome. Saying no to the king's food will have come easy. It's like you go to a buffet. If you like Chinese food and you're taking to Yeast or any buffet, and then you see all this spread of food and you're probably starving, and you said, no, I wouldn't do it. It wouldn't come easy. But by God's strength, with God on your side, we can withstand. We can say to the world, I will not do it. No matter, amen is right. We will say, no matter what, we will not do it. We will not go against our God. Because here's the thing. Conforming is dangerous. Conforming may be easy to do, but in the long run, it's dangerous. It's not good. Daniel was faithful because he said it in his heart. There was no big miracle happening. There was no big thing happening. But Daniel said, I will not do it. And friends, let me say this. Let's be very clear that if you don't go along with the flow, you may end up standing alone. That is the scary part, that you could stand alone if you don't go with the flow. If you don't do what the world is doing, you could be standing alone, and that place is not easy. For the young ones here, losing friends is not easy. Losing a colleague at work is not easy. So I'm not saying that this is going to be easy. But if you know with conviction the purpose for your life is to serve God, nothing is going to matter. Losing friends, you can handle it. Daniel knew where to cross the line. He could endure name change. He could tolerate learning a different language. I don't even know how that was, learning a language. Like, I've been here for over 20 years. By now, I shouldn't have accent. I should be speaking like Canadians. But I cannot. I've tried. I still have accents, sometimes even thick. So I can imagine learning a new language, learning Spanish, French. But they could go through that. But when it came to eating food that would defile them, they drew a line. As I conclude this message, I want to ask you today, what is God asking you to do to stand up? What is God asking you to do to say, you know what, I won't do this? What is God asking of you to say, you know what, I believe as a believer, I will not do it? Faithfulness is often tested in small daily choices before big crisis comes. Do you hear me? is always tested in small, daily choices before big crisis. It is true that we will be tested. If you're being tested right now, ask God for strength to help you to say no. Because conforming is not good. Our life has to have a purpose. If you haven't heard anything from me, hear this one line, that you have to draw a line somewhere. And you know what that means for you. I know what it means for me. But by God's strength, we can stand bold, as Daniel did, in a foreign land, to say, you know what, I serve a living God. And it's only Him and Him alone that I will serve. You can change my name, you can call me whatever, you can throw things at me, but I will stand because I know the God that I serve. And if we pray to Him earnestly, He can give us the strength, the courage to stand firm and to declare that we are His children. God bless you.